Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. This is Stan Houston. It is a Sunday afternoon, and yeah, I still have it, but it's different now. That's right. Congratulations on catching COVID. That's what my wife heard yesterday, and that meant that, in effect, the cold that we had been nursing myself, and then which recently, within the day or two or three, had gotten passed on to my dear wife, and now she was on her way to Cold Lane and Cold Avenue and Cold Bean. Um, that was in our get well quickly future. However, she decided that, I think I'm going to go to urgent care. I don't know about this. She said, you wait here, but I'm going to go to urgent care. So she made an appointment. And in the meantime, she decided, as she was looking for some of the relief medicine, she came across the 2 or 3 COVID kits that we had received. Like everybody else, they were sent to us. We didn't ask for them. But we never had any reason for using them because throughout the entire pandemic, we hadn't had any sign of COVID these last 2 or 3 years, 4 years almost. But she decided to try that, and sure enough, she tested positive. Well, as soon as she did that, she came to me and said, here we go. And sure enough, uh, I tested positive for COVID too. So I have COVID too. too. And when she went to the doctor with a smile, he said, well, it's bound to happen these days, so congratulations on finally. And he said, congratulations that you didn't have it before when it could have been much, much worse. But congratulations now on getting it over with, getting it done with, maybe getting a certain immunity to it. Congratulations on getting COVID now because we can handle it well now. But good for you. So that was our congratulations on our COVID discovery and our treatment to be. Well, that has led me to a couple things, so if I can have your permission just for a few moments to think about that, let's see if we can even get a little lesson in life from this stuff. Always seek to find a lesson in whatever happens to me and thee. Here we go. That's an interesting idea, and it begins right now. Well, of course, my voice is still, half, third? I don't know. One of you were kind enough to say that after you got used to my voice being like this, you kind of liked it. I don't. Well, it's not a good radio voice. It's not a good voice at all. But I guess for many people, there's a certain bass sound to it, and obviously, we oftentimes like a bass sound in the man who can have that deep resonance. And so I guess I should be kind of happy that someone liked the baritone bass of my voice went deep into a bass sound and maybe found that somewhat appealing. So I guess I'm grateful for that. Okay, um, first of all, again, in everything, give thanks. Yeah, yeah, we have COVID, and we could have had it a couple years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and it might have taken our life. But we had it now. Congratulations. You're getting it over with, and now we can handle it much better, and good for you. This will be a minor inconvenience compared to what obviously thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions of people went through in which this terrible disease took their life. So obviously, The fact that I have COVID now is something to celebrate and be thankful for because it can be easily handled. It can be easily taken care of. And I am grateful that even though I still have a few more days of quarantine, that's nothing. Um, I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be okay. The other thing that struck me is the fact that, again, slow down. You move too fast. You got to make the moment last. In effect, as someone once said to me in the midst of all of my hustling and bustling, and right now, since I have so many other challenges in my life, uh, moving and shaking and rolling, as she said to me, Stan, right now you need to slow down because you have too many voices in your life. Too many voices in your life. Your life is complicated because you're listening to too many things and too many different people. Uh, Simplify right now. Take this time to just settle down. I know you have challenges. I know you have opportunities, and you're trying to match the opportunities to the point where you can overcome the challenges. But maybe you should just, you know, lay low. As a friend said, I just took a nap every day for 7 days, and I had to, and it was good for me. So that's a second thing to realize that maybe uh, this talking and thinking and just finishing this up and then putting it away and saying, yeah, slow down. You move, you're going too fast. See if you can make the moment last and see if there's some meaning in the present moment that you might be missing. Well, the third thing I'm thankful for is that um, because of COVID, I didn't go to the church I oftentimes go to here in Cary, North Carolina, uh, because I shouldn't do that. I'm quarantined. You're not supposed to go and spread it around. So I did what I oftentimes do. In many cases, I went to church online, and the church that I go to online is in New York City. Calvary St. George's Church in New York City. Now, I'm familiar with them for a variety of reasons. One, I know a little bit of their history, which I'll talk about briefly. And because that's a place where my daughter and our special grandson have found a place where they are taken in and comforted and have a place to come together. And the fact that she's now a single mom and with those challenges and with his special needs and those challenges, she has a good community support center right there in New York City. She's not alone in the city of New York. She's not by herself. She has friends. And so I'm grateful for that. So I was watching the church service online. And usually because it's a rather, sophisticated full worship liturgy service, they celebrate all of the various feast days. But this was a new one, not a usual one. It was called the Feast of Samuel Shoemaker. I don't think you've ever heard of the Feast of Saint Samuel Shoemaker. Well, that's because there is no Feast of Saint Samuel Shoemaker. He's not a saint at all. But he may have done some saintly things, and I knew this story. I remember it dearly. It was there in the church in New York City, old-fashioned church, Calvary, nearby, another one, St. George's. The guy named Bill W. And Sam Shoemaker started, you know the story, AA, Alcoholics Anonymous. That's right. Alcoholics Anonymous took place in that basement of that New York City church. And of course, the movement has spread worldwide. And there are millions and millions and millions of people whose lives have been changed and transformed because of that. And so that was a good remembrance, particularly because right now I've been asked to work with one of my colleagues, and what we're trying to figure out is what goes into being really changed, really transformed. I mean, many of the men and women who went through AA would be dead. But it wasn't just they got sober, they got changed. And they realized that they couldn't have done it by themselves. And as a result, their lives were changed, transformed, not just changed, transformed. And it got me to thinking more and more of how important it is for all of us in this day and age. We're going through some challenging times. A lot of things need changing. But perhaps a lot more people and a lot more things need transforming. Not just improving, not just reimagining, not just tweaking, not just refiguring, but to actually go through, as they did in the church, the 12 steps. And the first step is to realize I am in a mess and I can't get out of it by myself. Are you in any of that situations? And then number 2, to realize that I would need some super duper, maybe some above normal, more than natural, more than what I usually think of real help to get well. I'm going to need to do some very different things. I may have to become a very new and different person. I may have to be transformed. Part of what we're seeking to do in 24, as I said, with a group of people is to help us all identify what does it take, like I say, what it takes radio. What does it take to be transformed as a person? What does it take to actually be able to transform an organization? We hear of, culture transformation. Well, how do you do that? And then can you really, perhaps, could it really be that you could maybe transform a whole community, maybe a whole society? Could we really do that? Should we do that? Who gives us the right to do that? And what would that look like if we would do that? So there we go. I'm Stan Houston, pushing forward new and interesting ideas, but I'd ask you to join me in that thought. What would it take for you? Let's talk about that. What would it take for you to be transformed? We'll be back. And we're back only to say we'd love to hear from you. Hopefully my voice will continue to improve, but we want more than improvement in many things in our lives. We want maybe a change to be transformative. If you've gone through a real transformation in your life, we'd love to hear the story. Yeah. It's more than just, you lost a few pounds, or you, maybe you stopped smoking, but maybe stopping smoking saved your life. Because I know of one person it did. So it was a major transformation. Whatever. How did you have a major, a significant transformation in your life? Let us know. We'd love to hear your story. And we may record it. We may ask you about it. But with your permission, we might even share it. What transformation has happened to you in just the recent past? Or maybe a long time ago. Best and blessings. Hope to hear from you. StanHouston@gmail.com. StanHouston@gmail.com.